tell you, I really wish I could edit so that I could just take out those little spots, but I'm not good at editing, so I'm trying to make a whole take in one. But I always end up getting tongue twisted or something. Anyway, here's my story. This is not my story, sorry. This is a story that somebody shared, and I loved it so much that I wanted to share it because I realized that's what makes Christmas for me, is when somebody tells me a story, because that's what sticks with me. We did a play in college, You Can Take It With You. This is something you can take with you. So remember this story. This is my contribution for Christmas. I remember tearing across town on my bike to visit Grandma on the day that my brother dropped the bomb. There is no Santa Claus, he jeered. Even dummies know that. Well, my grandma wasn't the gushy kind, never had been. I fled to her that day because I knew she'd be straight with me. I knew that Grandma always told the truth. And I know the truth always went down better, a whole lot easier, when it was swallowed with one of her world-famous cinnamon buns. Now, I knew they were world-famous because Grandma said so it had to be true. Bingo! Grandma was home, and the buns were still warm. Between bites, I told her everything. She was ready for me. No Santa Claus? She snorted. Ridiculous! Don't believe it. That rumor has been going around for years, and it makes me mad. Plain mad. Now go put your coat on and let's go. Go? Go where, Grandma? I asked. I hadn't even finished my second world-famous cinnamon bun. Where turned out to be Kirby's General Store, the one store in town that had just a little bit of everything. And as we walked through stores, Grandma handed me $10. That was a bundle in those days. Take this money, she said, and buy something for someone who needs it. I'll wait for you in the car. Then she just turned and walked right out of Kirby's. Now, I was only 8 years old, and I'd never been shopping by myself before. I'd gone shopping with my mother, but I had never shopped for anything by myself before. This store seemed so big and crowded and full of people, scrambling to finish their Christmas shopping. For a few moments, I just stood there, confused, clutching that $10 bill, wondering what to buy, and who on earth I should buy it for. I thought of everybody I knew. My family, my friends, my neighbors, the kids at school, the people who went to my church. I was just about thawed out, and when suddenly I thought of Bobby Decker. You know Bobby Decker, he was that kid with the bad breath and the messy hair. He sat right behind me in Miss Pollock's second grade class. Bobby Decker didn't have a coat, and I knew that because he never went out to recess during the winter. His mother always wrote a note telling the teacher that he had a cough, but we kids knew better. We knew that Bobby Decker didn't have a cough, he just didn't have a good coat. I fingered the $10 bill again with growing excitement. I knew what to do. I would buy Bobby Decker a coat. I settled on a red corduroy one that had a hood to it. It looked real warm, and he would like that. Is this a Christmas present for someone? Lady behind the counter asked kindly as I laid my $10 down. Yes, ma'am, I replied shyly. It's for Bobby. The nice lady just smiled at me as I told her about how Bobby really needed a good winter coat. I didn't get any change back, but she put the coat in a bag and smiled again and wished me a Merry Christmas. That evening, Grandma helped me wrap the coat, and a little tag fell out of the coat, and Grandma tucked it into her Bible. And she helped me wrap it now in Christmas paper and ribbons, and wrote, "To Bobby, from Santa Claus." Grandma said that Santa always insisted on secrecy. So she drove me over to Bobby Decker's house, explaining that as we went, how secret things need to be, and that I was now forever and officially one of Santa Claus's helpers. Grandma parked on the street from Bobby's house, and she and I crept noiselessly, and hid in the bushes by his front walk. Then Grandma gave me a nudge. "All right, Santa Claus," she whispered. "Get going." I took a deep breath and I dashed for his front door. I threw the present down on his step and I pounded on the door, and then I flew back to the safety of the bushes and my grandmother. Together we waited breathlessly in the dark for the front door to open, and finally it did, and there stood Bobby. 50 years haven't dimmed the thrill of those moments spent shivering beside my grandma and Bobby Decker's bushes. That night, I realized that those awful rumors about Santa Claus were just what Grandma had said they were. Ridiculous. Santa Claus is alive and well, and we were on his team. Now, I still have that Bible. It has a coat tag tucked inside of it, where my grandmother put it, and guess what it says? 1995. May you always have love to share, help to spare, and friends that care. And may you always believe in the magic of Santa Claus. Can I interject a little bit here? To me, it's such a perfect Christmas story because Christmas is not about Santa Claus anyway. And that's what this whole story to me is about. Because I was starting to feel bad. I'm like, how can you tell a Christmas story that isn't about Jesus Christ? But it is, because the end there. May you always have the love to share, help to spare, and friends that care. It's about giving gifts. And that's all about, and sure, let's talk about the wise men if we want. We'll talk about them giving him gifts. But that's not what we do at Christmas. We love one another.